I'm gonna tell you right now, someone may die Saturday night.
Oh my God, Sloop.
Hey,
Oh
I'm
my
just saying
God.
it. I'm calling my shot.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Vol fans of all ages, we're back again with another episode of the Rocky Top Ramble. I got my co-host with me today, Mr. Christian. Christian, how you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. We got a win this week, so it's a lot better atmosphere here in Knoxville and around Knoxville. Anytime you win, it's always a much better week from Saturday to Saturday and instead of getting beat like we did down in Gainesville.
Man, that's so true. Sloop, how we feeling? How was today?
Today was great. Titans lost, so I'm a little bummed. Um, Volunteers won Saturday. Got to go to the game. Atmosphere was great. People were great. Great crowd from beginning to end. It was a great time.
Speaking of being at the game, I actually heard that UTSA actually traveled a little well. Was that true, or was that just Twitter blowing smoke?
They had an entire section, and I'm sure it was just family and friends, but they had an entire section of UTSA fans. They traveled pretty well. I mean, before the game at the Vol Walk, they had some people doing UTSA chants and stuff. I mean,
Nice.
traveled proud.
I like that. I like that a lot. Well, I say we get right into it. We got the news coming up for this week, the Vols news. We're starting out our SEC home opener with a blackout game. It's always good to see that come out there in South Carolina. I was at the first official, not the very first blackout game, but the first one in hundreds of years almost, whenever we beat them on Halloween. And man, I love to see the boys in black.
Shout out Lane Kiffin for the
Shout
black
out Lane
uniforms.
Kiffin, man.
Man,
He left
what a
us with
time.
that.
Dude, that if you guys have ever read that story in the book about Lane, how he did that, whenever they came out in the orange and everything, and he told all the kids that the uh basically the admin above him wouldn't let him do it. He tried to bring the black uniforms and they weren't going to allow him to do it. And then Eric Berry walked in the room and he said, F every single one of them. We're going to do what we want. And Eric Berry walked in the room with a black jersey on.
Hell yeah.
That's typical Wayne. Big fan of the Lane train.
That was a cool thing for sure. Sleep, what do you think about him, Mr. Traditionalist?
I'm not a traditionalist. I love the black. I love the black. I love the orange helmet. I'm as far as from a traditionalist as you can be.
Yeah.
I love the idea of I mean, whenever they said they were gonna checker Nealon along with black and I was like, no. If we're gonna checker Nealon, we're gonna checker with black and orange. Don't do orange and white.
Yeah.
I mean, I want the blacks every single game.
It'd be cool,
That's gonna
dude.
be a horrible take for a lot of people because they're gonna be like, "Oh, I want the orange, I want the" I don't care.
They look so
It
good.
gets the people fired up. It gets the people going.
The
You
black
know,
jerseys are so sick.
they are.
So good.
I would love to see Nealon, and they definitely next like closer to Halloween game that we have where we do a blackout. Dude, Nealon's got to do it, but do a blackout, dude. Like everybody be wearing black in the stands. I think that looks so badass.
And what makes it even more special that it's a blackout game, it's at 7:30. I mean, a night game versus USC Junior with the black jerseys. They're coming in. We're looking to get a little revenge because when Hendon Hooker when he tore his ACL last year, there wasn't sympathy from them.
Hell no.
They were straight up just clowning us because they knew what that game meant for us to lose that game.
Right.
So I mean, it's not just any type of game where it's like, all right, we're blacking it out. It's a night game. No, this is a revenge game. This is a straight. We don't just want to beat you. We want to embarrass you in Neyland now. We want to show you that Neyland's better than whatever your name stadium is.
The BEAMER ball. Where they're about to run
Yeah,
3 fake punts on us because they're going to be punting all night.
Shane Beamer.
What a guy.
yeah, they definitely made some snide remarks after the Hendon Hooker thing, and as Dion says, it's became personal.
It's personal.
And I am very, 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 very fired up to be inside the stadium on Saturday night. I've
Uh-oh,
had
you're
this one.
going?
Oh yeah, I've had this one circled. I wasn't going to
Uh-oh.
miss this one at all. I knew that there was going to be a great chance that this would be a night game and a night atmosphere in Neyland whenever you've got some pissed off fans because of the way that they have acted. And I think it's came out that Josh Heupel and Shane Beamer don't get along. So if there's a chance to run up the score, I think that there's a there's not going to be any letting off the gas, so to speak. I think that last year, if you put this in the same metric as what last year was, last year Game 5 was on the road at LSU, and it was whenever we really hit our stride and found ourselves. And so looking into this week, I'm very, very hopeful that it becomes the same, and we walk out of Neyland very, very happy, and Shane Beamer can cry about his refs or whatever he wants to do, and I hope he gets a contract extension in South Carolina so we can beat him for years to come.
I hope so too, man. God, I can't wait. I think, dude, I think we're gonna pull a Miami Dolphins here and hang 70 on them. Maybe
I'd
not
love it.
actually, but I would love to see that, and I'm that pumped up about it too. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of alcoholic beverages consumed on Rocky Top before the game, and it's
Never.
going to be pumping in there.
We're a sober college.
Alcohol
Yeah.
free campus. Come on.
Oh man. Um. Well, we'll move on from the game itself. Talk about some Vols and the pros. Some news. We got Josh Dobbs with his first ever NFL career start win. He looked pretty good against a great Dallas defense, Sloop.
An upset.
Big
An
upset.
upset. And then not only that, he straight up clowned my guy Micah Parsons today on TikTok.
Ooh, man.
Straight up clowned him. I mean,
Throwing darts.
throwing them darts, and he's just out there just doing it. I mean, looking like Astro Dobbs, just prime athleticism versus that Dallas defense. Got to watch a little bit of that game because I can't remember what game it was that was on my television, but that was the Bears Chiefs. Bears Chiefs. The Chiefs were beating them so bad that they just went ahead and switched
They
over to the other
switched
game.
it.
They just went ahead and switched it, and
Oh,
it was
God.
actually an interesting game because I'm sitting there like, I get to cheer for Josh Dobbs again. Not, I mean, I've got to watch him like 2 or 3 times in the NFL, and then I've got to see him win. Personal favorite quarterback of mine for UT. Um, I mean, it was just a good win for him, good win from the Cardinals. An upset win. Ruined my parlay, but whatever.
It is what it is. Christian, what do you think about old Josh Dobbs?
Man, I've always been a big fan of Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs, I think that I asked Sloop or maybe even asked you this question the other day. Like, could you imagine Josh Dobbs in this offense with Josh Heupel? So, I mean, whenever Butch was here, I mean, yes, we had Alvin Kamara and yes, we had some very big playmakers. I'm not saying that we didn't, but man, Dobbs was everything. We went whenever Dobbs went. And to see him in an offense like this where he could have been able to spread it out, run it as athletic as what he was. And I mean, Hendon Hooker was like Josh Dobbs 2.0. And I'm not for sure if Josh Dobbs would not have had a better season if he got the same opportunities as what Hendon Hooker did in this offense. I'm a huge Josh Dobbs fan. I didn't get to watch Sunday, but for him to beat the Cowboys, it's always that's a good first career NFL win.
Yeah,
He said it was full
Great.
circle whenever I heard him talk about it. He said that his first ever start in the NFL was against the Cowboys, and to come back, that was his first ever career win. So it was a full circle moment for him. Took him 6 years to get it.
But not only do we get Josh Dobbs playing great this past weekend, we've had a full season of Alontae Taylor, former Vol, cornerback, didn't get burnt a lot in college. We've had a full-on season of him just being a stud for the Saints. He's had this past weekend, he had 5 tackles, 1 sack, and not a single pass completed on him.
Shoo.
For the season, he's at 14 total tackles, 12 solos, 1 sack, 2 assisted tackles. I think he's only had 1 pass completed on his head this season.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, the man is absolutely tearing it up and putting on a show for the Saints and putting on a show for me because I love watching our Vols in the NFL. We got Alvin Kamara coming back next week for that team. The
That,
Saints are looking dangerous with some Vols at the helm.
man, me and you were talking about this the other week, Sloop, is I wasn't worried about Alontae Taylor when he went to the NFL. I just didn't think he'd be this good of a player because his speed was always a big downfall of him. I felt like, but he is one of those guys that whenever the ball snapped, he's just a gamer. He's going to be
Gamer.
around the ball. He's going to be making tackles, and he's done that all season so far. I just really hope he stays healthy because the Saints team's already starting to dwindle.
Yeah, he's just very physical. He
He
played
is.
very physical at Tennessee. He's a physical corner, and they move him around a lot with the Saints. Whenever I've watched him, I watched him the first 2 weeks. I didn't get to watch him last week, and they move him around a lot. He plays a lot on the inside in their corner. He plays, on the outside, and he's just physical, man. He always attacks. I wish that we still had him on our team because God knows our secondary can use it.
Yeah.
Starting this week, we're going into week 5 of college football season. Tennessee's 21, Florida's 22, Mizzou's 23. Just running over our SEC teams here. LSU 13, Alabama 12. Georgia's still number 1. Future SEC teams: Texas number 3, Oklahoma number 14. Tennessee's jumped 2 spots. The most important thing I can tell you is we're still ahead of Florida because fuck them.
Exactly. Head of Florida, that's all that matters. They might have beat us, but we're the better team according to the 8 people. But I think after this week we'll move back up into the top 20 range. We'll be somewhere around like 18, 17. Get back to where we kind of deserve to be right now. Was Ole Miss? Did you say Ole Miss was ranked, or did Ole Miss fall out after the loss to Alabama?
They are
I
ranked. They're
think
number 20.
they're
They're
20. Yes, I'd say they're
They
rough.
dropped.
They're rough.
Yeah, they dropped 5 spots. Kentucky got 41 votes to be ranked.
nice.
Texas A&M got 5 votes to be ranked. Vandy still sucks.
Mm-hmm. Well, Kentucky, start off another typical Kentucky season where they don't play anybody first 5 weeks of the season. So
Could be us.
yeah, couldn't be us.
Hmm. They
But
got Florida this weekend.
they do. They'll probably get smacked at home. They are good against Florida, though. I don't know what it is about Kentucky and beating Florida, but I love it.
I think they're a 2.5-point favorite.
Really?
I think Kentucky's a 2.5-point favorite. People are really high on that quarterback they got. I don't even know what his name is, but any quarterback that Kentucky has, I'm automatically like, no way.
There's no way, especially after what Will Levis did for us last year.
Trash.
But let's turn it to the recap of the UTSA game. I got a couple things I want to start off with. It looked like even though we're playing a little FCS team that we came to play, there was energy in the building whenever the Vols ran out of the tee. There was energy throughout the entire first half. I still think we were playing hard in the second half. We just became a head case there for a little bit. Another thing I wanted to mention is that Dylan Sampson is a dog. Wait, no, let me correct that. A cheetah. The man has scored. If Twitter wasn't trolling me, the man scored on 20% of his touches this year. That might be a lie. That might be a lie. That's an insane stat if that's true. But we have got to get him the ball because it's fun watching him run the ball. I just want to see him juke everybody out of their shoes.
We got to get him in space and let him go. I mean,
Oh,
I still can't understand why he got 0 touches versus Florida, but that game's behind us. I'm not talking about it.
right.
Mistakes were made that game all the way around, but the man is an animal. I don't care if it's an FCS team. I don't care who it is. I mean, he comes to play. He's a gamer. I mean, he's not he's not looking to just let the two guys in front of him play in front of him, and he wants to be there. He wants to be on that field.
No, yeah, he's going to take what's his. He's trying to prove that every time he gets the ball. Christian, what do you think about him?
Man, we started really well. I mean, you got to see Joe Milton what he can do with his legs. I saw today on Twitter that I mean, obviously the size that he is, it takes him a little bit to get going, but he hit over 21 miles an hour on that run. I mean, the guy can move, and he's an athletic guy. And you got to see it on the very first play. I mean, it was you. That was a great play call to start the game. You know, UTSA came out very, very, very aggressive. They loaded the box. They and Josh Heupel used every single bit of their aggressiveness against them. And he calls, a read option there. You get the read. The end crashed all the way down, and not only did the end crash, the linebacker crashed and the safety crashed because they were all trying to swarm to the ball, and he used their aggressiveness against them. Joe took the rest of the way, and I mean, you can't ask for a better start. I mean, in Joe's, career starting at Tennessee, I think that was the first time that we eclipsed like the 7 point mark in the first quarter with him starting. So that's a huge step in the right direction because I mean, our offense in a way is not built to play from behind. And whenever teams can get up ahead of us and start milking that clock, it puts a lot more pressure on our offense. And our offense is really meant to be free and you know that's behind the sticks, behind in the game, behind anything. It's not meant to do that. And we never really got there. Our offensive line played a lot better. We had a few drops. I like to clean up, but overall, you can't complain anything about being up 31-0 at halftime.
Yeah, that was definitely what we wanted to see. I'd say the biggest thing that happened in the first half was the block punt we had, where one of our freshmen got a little too excited and he had to go try to jump on it. But I mean that I'm not going to say that happens because that should never happen. I mean, everybody knows if it goes past the line of scrimmage, don't try to pick it up, Um, but that was just a mental error that you can fix, and it's a good thing that that happened against UTSA rather than this week at South Carolina or against South Carolina. But yeah, I agree with you, Christian. I think that we looked just a lot better. O line looked better. Um, I think we'll continue to get better throughout the season, from what I think. So, you got any thoughts on the atmosphere there since you were there for the game?
Um, Shout out to Vol Nation. I mean, it was electric from the time I walked in at 2:30 to the time I left when there were zeros on the clock. I mean, we stayed the whole game, and when I stayed the whole game, traffic was still crazy. In a beat down game like that, you'd be able to expect to walk back to Children's Hospital and then just leave. But no, I mean, it took us 45 minutes to get back on the interstate, and I mean, it was electric from the time they ran out of the tee. They had a T-28 or whatever type of plane it was fly over the stadium during the national anthem. That was gave me chills. I mean, um, had a great crowd there for a game that people typically aren't going to show up for in any other fan base, in my opinion. It was hot. Sun was out. Well, it wasn't really hot. Just the sun was out on that side of the stadium I was sitting on. So I mean, it was just is for people to stay for a game like that. It's just incredible for our fan base. Recapping stats for this past game. Joe Milton was 18 for 31 with 209 yards, two touchdowns. Dylan Sampson, 11 carries, 139 yards, two TDs. Joe Milton, 5 carries for 89 yards, one TD. Jabari Small, 9 carries, 61 yards, one TD. Jalen Wright, 4 carries, 16 yards. Ramel Keaton, 1 reception, 48 yards, won a touchdown. Brew McCoy, 3 receptions for 30 yards. Squirrel White, 4 receptions for 29. Dante Thornton, 2 for 24. Caleb Webb, 2 for 22. Dylan Sampson, 1 reception for 20 yards. I mean,
Get that
an
down.
all out, an all out good game for um just a positive line for all the guys that are looking at stats. I mean, even the punter had a outside of his first game versus Virginia, he's been great. I mean,
Yes.
he had six punts for 266 yards for an average of 44. And the biggest thing is we covered. We
We
covered
did
versus
cover.
UTSA. That's an against the spread win right there.
Right. Yeah, I was glad to see everybody play better. Especially a quarterback. I feel like he did play better until he got a little bit banged up there. I'd like to see him what he did on that Ramel Keaton touchdown. Do that every drive because that was beautiful. He stepped up in the pocket, slid out, used a little bit of his feet, and just dropped a dime. That's why I
Yeah,
don't know. That's why I love Joe Milton, dude. He's capable of doing all those things. It looked effortless.
that's
I got a
that's the
question for
biggest
both.
thing about him. Go ahead.
I got a question for both you guys. Sitting there in live time watching that game, not on TV for the first time, I've got to watch this offense in person. It felt as if like the first drive we were well, obviously take that one out. The second drive that we had with the ball, we were so fast. And as the game went on, we just got so much slower. I understand you're up, 31 nothing at halftime, whatever it was. You want to be slower with the ball. But are we supposed to be that slow? Even though we're up 31 nothing? Thoughts from you both you guys?
I
Um,
think that Heupel doesn't really like whenever our offense is moving and our offense is rolling. You will also know our offense is rolling by the speed in which we snap the ball. If we're snapping the ball very, very quickly, that means that our offense is moving the ball very, very well. And whenever we slow it down, you know, it's because of us not being able to move the ball. And in the first half, Joe Milton, you read the stat line was 18 of what did you say, 19 to 31? Is that what you
Something like
said?
that. Something like that.
I think I think starting the game, Joe Milton was 18 to 20 in the first half. After the first half, after he got rolled up on, he was 1 of 11. And the offense is obviously going to slow whenever you don't get that consistent play. And I mean, you even saw it last year with Hooker. There was a few times and throughout the year where offense slowed down at on a drive or two just because he missed a few throws, missed a few things here and there, missed a few keys. And I mean, it's hard. I mean, Josh Heupel's offense is very hard on a quarterback because it is such a quarterback driven offense. And it is the tempo and everything is completely depicted on how well we are moving the ball and how well we are hitting those passes whenever we got to hit them. I mean, in the first half, like you said, we're 18. It was 18 to 20 throwing the ball, and our offense was absolutely humming. It's like as soon as we got the ball, it'd be a run play, play action. We're going to throw it deep on you. A turnover, okay. You turn the ball over. We got the ball. Fourth down stop. Okay, we're taking the shot, and we connected on a lot of them. We looked very, very well on offense, and you know, it's all about the consistency of play back there at the quarterback position to keep the offense moving.
yeah, I don't. I'm excited for this South Carolina game because I feel like obviously Florida was a big wake up call for our offense and offensive coordinator. I feel like we were a little more conservative and didn't push the pace as much as we needed to. But I think in the first half we really got to figure out how we want our offense to be played for the first time this year, probably. I mean, even in the Virginia game, even though we scored quite a bit of points, we really weren't moving at the tempo we did the first half. So I think that's something that our players could build off of, and I think that's something that we need to do more consistently, at least. Um, Joe Milton, dude, Christian. I know he got rolled up on, and then became inconsistent, but he looked a lot better. I at least thought so.
Yeah, I thought in the first half he looked great. I thought that it's the best that I'd seen him in a Tennessee uniform.
besides the
but
Clemson game?
no, I'm still thinking that first
Oh,
half he's more efficient than what he was in the
oh,
Clemson game.
Sloop.
I really do.
I
I
mean,
think
Joe
that's
Milton,
the
he had me
best.
convinced he was winning the Heisman after that Clemson game.
Yeah, but I mean, he didn't play bad in the Clemson game. I'm not saying at all that he played bad. I just thought that efficiently, him running the ball, you getting to see him step up in the pocket, make that throw to Ramel Keaton, him do the things that he did in the first half was that's the best he's ever looked. And, you know, after that, and I understand he got rolled up on, I think his mechanics were a little bit off after that. But the biggest problem for Joe Milton will always be his consistency. And in the SEC, you've got to be consistent to win games. And that is what this game, basically this Saturday, is going to roll into. Is how consistent can Joe Milton be for 4 quarters? Whenever we went to a mental lapse in Florida, what was also happening? Joe was in a mental lapse himself. And whenever you continually put stress on your defense, and yes, I know we miss tackles, and yes, I know that we miss different things. We've got to be more consistent tackling the football. On the defensive side, we got to be more consistent up front. We got to be more consistent from the wide receiver position. There's consistency all the way around. But at the end of the day, as a quarterback, you are the leader of the team. You do have to take the lumps and the falls with how you play. If you win, you're the hero. If you lose, you're the villain. And that's the unfortunate part about playing the quarterback position at a high level and definitely in the SEC and at a big school is what Tennessee is. And this Saturday will really boil down to how consistent can Joe Milton be? Because if he is consistent, this team just gave up 500 passing yards to Mississippi State. And they also have the 119th ranked defense in the country on rushing attempts and rushing defense.
Oh man.
So if you don't think Josh Heupel is absolutely licking his lips to be able to go up against this defense, like I know that he's going to have a game plan. I know that he's going to have everything there. It's just can they execute and can they be consistent? Because if you can be consistent against the South Carolina team, they are not good enough up front on the offensive side of the ball to be able to score what we can. Because I mean, Spencer Rattler, hats off to him. I think he's been the best quarterback in the SEC so far this year, and he is doing it with no help. As what's his name?
Besides his wide
What's the
receiver, that his go-to wide receiver,
yeah,
he has
Xavier
been
Legette.
great. Yeah, he's leading all FBS colleges in receiving yards
Yeah,
total right
that
now
guy's
and
free.
receiving yards per game, which I guess those two
Yep.
kind of go hand in hand. But he's a ball player, dude. When that guy gets the ball in his hands, he's a threat to score. Um,
Yeah, he's a freak.
Spencer Rattler, he's as much as I want to hate him, I've got to respect him because of how good he played against us last year. That hurts me to say. I saw Sloop look up at me like, "There's no way you just said that," but I've got to tip my hat to him sometimes because he's a good ball player. He's kind of like Joe Milton. He's inconsistent. There's been games where he's looked terrible, but a lot of the times Rattler is he could be a Heisman candidate if he did it every week. We are 12.5 point favorites against South Carolina or USC Junior, as Sloop would say. Sloop, do you think we're going to cover that, or what do you think?
12.5 is a lot
It's a
for a
lot.
Monday night. I uh, that's tough. That's tough. A Monday night spread. I think it's gonna close down to less than 6 by Saturday. Um, I'm gonna back up here and I'm gonna go ahead and say this. The best quarterback in the SEC so far this year has been Jaden Daniels by far, not even close.
Yeah.
Not Steph Curry, ugly Steph Curry here. I don't respect him for the simple fact that he had just one good game last year, and he's had 0 offensive line help and maybe 2 good games this year. So, yeah, he's gotten better from last year. I'm going to go ahead and set the scene for you, though. We've got a 7:30 kickoff in Knoxville, Tennessee. in 6 days.
I'm
By
about
the
to start
time
drinking that.
everybody sees this, it'll be 5 days. We have a 7:30 kickoff with blacked out jerseys against a team that has absolutely no respect, not just for the Vols, but for our fan base, for our former quarterback, for our coach, for our stadium. They've been saying for a year now, Neyland ain't got nothing on their stadium. Well, for anybody to say that, it just pisses me off on the inside. So let me set the stage and say this: Spencer Rattler, he's getting his name called by our D line at least 6 times on Saturday. 6 times, Christian. I
I
want his
agree with
face in the dirt 6 times because that offensive line, midway, makes that offensive line look good.
Oh my goodness! I can't wait. Now you're excited about the defensive line versus their offensive line, but I'm excited about our run game versus their run defense because
I'm just excited
Samson,
for the game in general.
yeah, yeah, that's true. But Samson's definitely going to get the ball at least double the amount he has been, surely, right? Zero
Double the
times at
amount
Florida.
versus Florida. Yeah.
Got to, right? Um, he's going to score twice. I'm calling it now. Small, he's going to absolutely bully them boys on third downs. And I don't think we'll have any issue at all just ramming it down their throats and playing good old Rocky Top football. Um, I'm also looking forward to how pumping the crowd's going to be that night, Sloop. And how big of a difference it's going to make with that inexperienced offensive line getting offside calls on them all night.
You're talking about Vols fans. I know a guy named Frank that's going to have a lot of time that day.
Frank!
Adult beverages. And it ain't just going to be Frank. We're going to have 75,000
Franks.
drunk fans in our stadium looking to come after Spencer Rattler and that offensive line. Shane Beamer better be wearing sunglasses on Saturday because he's going to be crying. And I know we don't want people seeing that. I know we don't want people seeing it. He needs to be getting some of them prime sunglasses. That's what he needs to be doing.
Reflectives.
I'm going to tell you right now, someone may die Saturday night.
Oh my God, Sloop.
Hey,
Oh
I'm
my
just saying
God.
it. I'm calling my shot.
it.
Get,
It
get
really,
Connors on the line.
For South
it
Carolina?
really, it really, really, really sets up, man. Like I was here in 2021 whenever we played Ole Miss at night,
Same.
and it really, really sets up to be the exact same type of ball game. And they are South Carolina is walking into an absolute buzzsaw. They don't know what they're walking into. They don't know what's about to happen. They don't know, how pissed off this fan base is. And whenever you get 102,000 inside the stadium, that pissed off, that mad, that much just hate and despise for Shane Beamer and the way that they acted and their fan base, it's making up to be an all out war for this fan base on Saturday night. Win or lose or whatever, I truly know that this fan base on Saturday is going to be rocking. And there's no better place in the country than to be than a NEYLAND Stadium on a 7:30 kickoff at night whenever your back's against the wall. I mean, that team's back's against the wall. Our backs are against the wall. Everybody's back's against the wall, and everything that we want's right out in front of us. And they're walking into a buzzsaw. I circled this game for a reason. I have wanted to be at this game the whole year. I didn't care how much it cost to go to this game. I was paying the money to go because you don't get experiences like this often.
Shout
Right.
out Seth Collier.
Shout out Seth, man. Well,
Christian's got me fired up enough that I want to throw the pads on Saturday.
dude,
I
I
may
think
get
you could go.
demolished.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think you could go out there on a third down and sack Spencer Rattler. I'm not even joking. You're
Oh,
just
100%. That offensive line is going to make me look like an NFL DN.
You know what you're going to do? You're going to go out there, pull a little Miles Garrett before the snap, crossing people over. Just hit the center with the little right arm, hook him under, and you're right there on Spencer.
Sleep would be flat backed out there on the 50. Big old pancake out there on the 50.
He'd be asking for Frank to come pick him up and give him a ride home. Frank would
I'd be in
happily
the
do that.
I'd be in the stretcher.
But I will say, this game, I didn't think it was going to turn out to be this type of game going into the season because I thought we would beat Florida. But this is probably the most like looking at our schedule right now. This is a pivotal game for us. Like this is going to be we're either going to have a good season and this is going to spark it, or we're going to turn around and have a okay season, and this is going to be one of those games we look back at and he's like, you know what, we lost in the swamp, but that South Carolina, having them at home during a blackout game and losing to that's what really did it for us. But we need to come out ready to play, and I don't think that's going to be an issue at all. So with that being said, I think we need to go to our keys to victory for this Saturday night brawl.
Can I pause for a second?
Sure.
Oatmeal cream pie. Top 2, Little Debbie, and it ain't number 2.
Fact. I agree. I agree.
This message has been brought to you by Little Debbie's.
Yeah. Good ad placement, Sloop. Good ad placement.
If Little Debbie ever wants to sponsor me, I'll gladly eat a Little Debbie every single podcast. We may start podcasting every day. This Little Debbie right here is in trouble. I'm just going to tell you. I got a box of 12 in there. Just today, I've trimmed it down to 8.
It's a bad day to be a Little Debbie. And it's a bad day to have a little cock.
It's never a good day to be a Little Debbie in this household. Never. Don't matter. No cream pie, little nutty buddy, little strawberry shortcake. It's never a good day to be a Little Debbie in this household, Christian.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is our keys to victory brought to you by Little Debbie's. We got Christian up first. Christian, what is the number one key to victory for the Vols on Saturday night?
I touched on it earlier. For me, my biggest key to victory is consistency. If Joe Milton plays consistent, if we consistently swarm to the ball, we consistently, make the plays that we're supposed to make, not do anything. That's the thing is like, whenever I talk about consistency, it's not making the super play. It's not making the Ramel Keaton diving catch against Florida last year that literally set us up. It's not making that. It's just making the throw across the middle on a slant or whatever it may be, a drag across the middle where you got a guy running wide open. It's the, just the little things. And if we walk out of there and we consistently play well up front, we consistently play well, we stay ahead of the chains, just the consistency all around the football team. If we play consistent, I do not think that this team can beat us. I think that we're better on the defensive front. I think that we're more than likely, and this is one of the first times I've said this year, I think that we're better on the offensive front. I think there's a great chance that Cooper Mays comes back for this game this week, and he'll be huge for us on the offensive front. I think that we could absolutely put a flacking on South Carolina and NEYLAND on Saturday night, and it comes down to how consistent can Joe Milton be?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that one. The whole team all together's got to be more consistent. Wide receivers got to catch balls. Quarterbacks got to make good throws. Line's got to block every play. But my key to victory is staying ahead of the sticks. I think that just it jumpstarts our offense. If we go out there first play on Saturday night on offense and we get an offsides penalty and it backs us up to 1st and 15 and then we get a 2 yard run. Now we're 2nd and 13. That just kills all momentum that we can have with the type of offense that we run. And it's not even we got to get a 5 yard gain on first down. It's we have to get positive yards on first down. We can't go backwards. We can't get sacked on first down. We can't make mental errors. We can't have holding calls. We can't be giving up blocks for tackles for us. We can't be jumping off sides. All those things are going to be super important for us on Saturday because it's even when we're on offense. I know how it is in Neyland. It's still going to be loud. Us Vol fans, we can't help but to cheer 24/7 when we're in that arena, and we got to be disciplined. We got to stay ahead of the sticks. So, Sloop, what is the final and third key to victory for the Vols Saturday?
We've got on defense, we've got to get off the field on third down. We cannot 3rd and 2, we got to find a way. Okay, 3rd and 17, we got to find a way. This is how this game got away from us last year is the defense on third down just couldn't get the job done. We've got to find a way on third down to get the job done. No matter how we do it, we've got to get it done. And I think that's important on both sides of the ball. I mean, offensively, you've got to be able to convert some third downs. You got to find a way. I mean, as Coach Ruffner would say, you've got to find a way to win this game tonight. When it's nut cutting time, who's going to be the one with the knife in their hands and who's going to be the one cutting their nuts? I mean, that's just how it is. We've got to find a way on Saturday night to win this ball game, and I think that getting off the field on third down and converting some third downs is going to be huge for us.
I think we're going to turn into some Michael Myers and cut the shit out of their nuts.
Getting off the field on third down is huge. Definitely. Whenever you're at home, whenever they come over the speaker there and you hear, it's third down, and you hear that place and it really starts rocking and it's up in the, 110, 114 decibels inside that place. And, they're moving around at the line and you get even louder whenever they're moving around at the line because you want them not to be able to hear. And then, it's like Sloop said, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, and you don't get that stop there. It's deflating for the crowd, and it takes the crowd out of the game a little bit. And you've got to be able to get off the field on third down. We've struggled with that some this year. And if we can get off the field, I mean, definitely at Florida, we struggled mightily with getting off the field on third down. If we can get off the field on third down and play consistent, and Tyler, what was your key again? I forgot.
What was my what?
What was your key again?
Eat more little W's.
Oh, yeah.
What was your key? It was get off the field on third down, play consistent.
Stay
ahead of the sticks. I think that's 3 great keys to win the game. If you do those 3, I think that not only do you win this game, but you win most football games you play in.
Christian, you brought up a good point whenever you was talking about that third down when you hear it come over the intercom. But what I'm wanting to hear Saturday night is the third down for what? And the place just to explode.
It'll be there. You wait. Down for what? Probably hear me. I'm going to be losing my mind up there.
I just hit my third down for what sound, so we're pumped up. But yeah, that's going to do it for this Vols podcast. Appreciate everybody hanging out, listening to us. Perfect time on the Vols cast. 40 minutes. I feel like that was perfect. I don't know about you guys.
Great.
Yeah, I feel like that is the perfect duration to talk about how bad Tennessee's going to beat the shit out of South Carolina this week. Sloop, Christian, any final remarks before we end this thing here?
Fuck Spencer Rattler.
We might have to cut that.
If we're going to the game on Saturday, drink up and get ready. You stay hydrated. This place is about to rock. Whenever NEYLAND on Saturday night, there's no better place in the world to be than a Saturday night in the fall inside NEYLAND Stadium. I know that for me, this is a game that I've circled. This is a game that I want, and I hope that they want it just as bad as I think is what this fan base does, because this fan base is going to be rocking on Saturday.
We're itching for it, baby. We're itching for it. As always, everybody make sure that you drop a subscription right now. Put in the comments what you think the score is going to be on Saturday. Hit that like button. All of our Twitters are right there below our face cam, so there's no excuse to not go follow the boys. I mean, if you're for the boys, you'll follow the boys. That's what I'm saying. Um, but we'll see y'all in the next one. We got some NFL picks, some big game talk coming up. Peace and love.